Hello, everybody. Right, for those in countries that do celebrate it, happy Halloween. Um, of course, today is Thursday, October 31st, 2024. I know here in the States, up in Canada, I think over in some of the European countries as well, people celebrate Halloween. Kids go out trick or treating, get all of it, dressed up in costumes, get all the candy they can grab. Um, so with that, we're gonna give people a chance a few minutes to come in. Um, as always, if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get a few more friendly people in here to engage. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. Um, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Also, of course, if you haven't already, if you guys um, would like to subscribe, feel free to do so that way you can get the notifications and all that. Um, like I said, we're just gonna wait a few minutes to give people a chance to come in. Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. He laughs and plays, sings and dances all day. Friendliest ghost you see, wherever he may go. He's always glad to meet you, wherever he will go. He's always glad to see you. Casper, the friendly ghost. Everybody shout! Come on, let's hang out. It's time for the groovies get together. We're gonna see how funny they can be. Well, it's time for the Groovy Ghoulie Show. Do 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 do. Hey, GJ. Um, recent sense dub peed me, or recent Sentai dub peed me off. Um, I party everybody. All right. So what about the Sentai dub upset you there, GJ? And while you're responding to that question, I guess a good time to start talking about what I had planned for tonight. The talent. Okay, what exactly did the talent do to upset you about the dub? Let's see. In fact, I have a general dislike and hatred for all the voices of both Sentai Funimation, but more specifically Sentai. Is it okay? Again, we had this discussion the other day. I still get the impression it has more to do with extracurricular stuff than really um, the actual talent. Um, you know, because they still have a lot of people there who were there years ago. You still have people there who've been there like for quite some time in there, including, of course, Hillary Haig, Hillary Haig, Lucy Christian, Brittany Karbowski, um, Dave Matranga, um, Andrew Love, David Wald. A lot of those guys are now. Some of them, yeah, some of them haven't been around in a while, but and a lot of talent is newer talent. But again, is it more for the extracurricular stuff, like what they did to Vic and what happened between like Mike Hinomoto and Avery, or do you have a specific issue with their actual talent, with their actual voices? First, first of all, some of the veteran VAs are being replaced. Same with Funimation. I feel that they're being disregarded, discarded. Okay, so at least with that answer, what that answer tells me is that you feel like maybe. So it sounds a little bit more like you're upset because they're bringing in newer talent as the older talent is getting older and maybe moving on to other things, um, or what have you. Um, and yes, I can somewhat see that, but then there's also the point of there's also the idea that sometimes as people get older, their voices do genuinely change. Now, granted, there were other. An example of that I can give you is what they were. One of the things they were talking about with the X-Men '97 series, and why some of the voice actors changed roles. Now, yeah, for the most part, some of it was more the DEI garbage, but I know they did say in one of the case of Catherine Disher, the reason that they did not bring her back to voice Jean Grey this time around for the '97 series, X-Men '97 series, was because she felt she couldn't do the voice anymore, not because of DI issues, but because she just physically could not do it. Sometimes that happens. Um, but anyway, let me read what you because I was answering the one. No, it's not Vic, and I feel the voices of both studios have downgraded. The favorable dubbing is Ocean and some of Bang Zoom. Now another disappointing anime is Bungo Stray Dogs. I don't know about Bungo Stray Dogs Doppler. I've watched Bungo Stray Dogs, and that's a good one as far as I can tell. Anyway, hey Sungwoo, Seyun, did you? No, I haven't. I haven't voted yet. I'm going to vote. I'm going to probably go and vote Sunday. Um, so I'll. But if you want to talk more about voting and stuff like that, I'll talk to you about that later. No, Mike, I have massive problems with all of the voices. All right. So you actually so okay, you're kind of going in circles here, GJ. Um, because a moment ago you just said that you were upset that some of the veteran VAs at Sentai being replaced and getting you felt like they were getting discarded, and that was what was upsetting you. But Doppler, Doppler is a typo. Hmm. Yeah. And awesome. Well, based on our conversations about it, GJ, granted the Vic issue may not be as pressing a thing for you, but I get the impression that it's not just the Vic situation, like Vic combined with also Hinomoto Smith Hart situation that may be fueling some of this. Because even in some of our previous conversations, you acknowledged that you liked them before. Even in this conversation, you acknowledged that you didn't have as much of a problem with Sentai before. It's only been more recently that you've had issues with it, and it sounds more like and it is becoming more and more clear to me now. It almost sounds more like you're just unhappy because the older voice actors are getting replaced by younger voice actors. What you have to understand, though, some are retiring. I do know for a fact one of the voice actors has passed on in the last. Okay, so at from the Sentai side of it, one of the voice actors actually has passed on in the last year, and that was Chris Ayres. You know, I know that there have been a few of the older older Funimation voice actors have passed on over the past few years. I know Ed Blaylock, I think he passed away back in 2015. I know, and more recently, like in the past couple years, I think like Bryce Armstrong passed on, Grant James passed on. Um, let's see, I think Julie Erickson retired. Um, and then some who were probably more aligned with Vic are not being called into work as much. So like Linda Young, but it almost sounds like you're just not happy with the newer voices they're bringing in. Anything else? That much I'm picking up, obviously. So, anyways, so as much as Uto, you're talking about the original Utawa, the original dub of Utawa Maru Mono or Utawareru Mono. Talking about the one that they dubbed, that ADV dubbed, or are you talking about like the more recent one that was dubbed? And even in that, though, for the most part, not much is. They still used a lot of the same cast members, so maybe it's not um, going from 2000. So basically, you basically don't like a lot of the Sentai stuff that's basically from 2015 forward. Is that what you're saying? That you're basically just not happy with a lot of the voice actors that they've picked up in the last about 10 years or so. Well, technically 9 going on 10, but 10 years or so. Am I right in that assessment? I'd say the worst Sentai dubbing, in my opinion, is a tie between Akame ga Kill, Uhei no Ko, and Chain Soldier. All terrible garbage. Let's see. I haven't heard the last Akame ga Kill. I know was on Toonami there for a while. I know that had some of the newer talent. It had more of the focus on the newer talent. I think one of the few long time one of the few long time um, VAs from Sentai slash ADV who is on that dub was Sherry Kayleen Black. I was talking about the Utawaru Mono seasons, but I've held a Hater Sentai dubbing since 2011. So it's even been longer. Food Wars, also a disappointment, especially Erina, annoying voice. Erina is Stephanie Whittles, again, one of the newer. So let me ask you something, because I'm sure that you know this. Sentai started up kind of after ADV. After ADV shut down, right? Um, and a lot of talent that was with ADV did eventually go on to Sentai. Some of them went to Funimation as well, mind you. So, let's see. So, did you? Let me ask you. Did you watch a lot of the ADV dubs? And if you did, what were some of your favorite shows? And who were some of your favorite voice actors and actresses? All right. I don't know if you're still thinking about it, but I'll ask it again, or I'll point this out again. So many of the voice actors who did eventually move on to Sentai, right, worked for ADV, and you're saying that you basically had issues with Sentai's work basically since 2011. So with that in mind, considering that, were there any like shows that ADV did, and also were there some voice actors and actresses that you liked? That maybe you're not seeing as much anymore. You know, because at least what I'm piecing together here, based on what you're telling me, it has more to do. It seems to have more to do with the fact you just don't like the newer talent. You know, you haven't said a whole lot about the older talent, unless I'm the one who brings it up. I think the only, I think the only one of the like more veteran talent that you seem to have a problem with that I know of is, is probably like Hillary Haig. And what I mean is probably those who are probably from before 2011. Those who are, go back to the, um, ADV days. But some of the people who were there during the ADV days, um, are still there working. You know, TJ, I really can't help you out much if you not willing to at least, you know let me help you hash out some of this stuff. Um, but I guess if you have nothing more to say about it right now, I guess I'll get to what I was going to start talking about in the first place, before we got onto this conversation. Um, anyways, so before we did get into this conversation about Sentai voice actors and stuff, what I did have planned, and I will still try to do it here. It just may take us closer to the full hour. So tonight, of course, is Thursday night, which more recently we've been when available, we've been going over the, indie comic showcase. We're gonna do that here. We'll probably get started on that in just a moment here. Um, Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up. We'll go over, we'll talk about more recent wrestling news in terms of WWE, AEW, and TNA, and then also talk about this day in each history. So, with all that being said, why don't we get to the article that I was going to go over tonight in Bleeding Full, which is the Indie Comic Showcase. All right, so let's get to this. Indie Comic Showcase number 288, Phantom Lion, Reign in Ruins, and a Trading Justice. Article by Chris Braley, published yesterday. Now, of course, before we go on, just a friendly reminder to you guys, of course, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that being said, and of course, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. That way you can get the notices a lot quicker. You'll know when I come on. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So, Indie Comic Showcase. So, welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we single boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle, and of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. On Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out, for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. All right, so here we go. Phantom Lion by Kerry King. Let me see here. So let me go grab that link real quick. And this is a Kickstarter campaign. So there's the first comic we're going to be featuring. We're going to be looking over tonight, or at least, obviously that Chris Braley interviewed about Phantom Lion. It's a Kickstarter campaign, so there's the link if you guys want to go check that out. Phantom Lion by Kerry King. So let's see what's going on here. So Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Kerry. Tell us the pitch of your latest crowdfunding project. Kerry King. It's a 24-page color comic called Phantom Lion. Issue number 2 follows Lenny Conrad, a former journalist turned lion-powered hero, as he faces off against the cunning circus master who uses nanomite tech to turn elephants into deadly weapons. With newfound abilities like stealth and healing, Phantom Lion must protect innocent lives while unraveling a sinister plot. As Lenny struggles to remember his family, he faces his first true supervillain battle, testing his resolve and his power. So, kind of a classic superhero-driven story here. This sounds like a fun story to get into. Chris, where did the idea for this comic come from and made you decide to self-publish it? Kerry, growing up on comics, I felt inspired to write a story exploring the themes of conspiracy and hidden truths, as well as inner strength. I think he meant to say inner strength, required in fighting overwhelming evil. I chose the superhero genre because of the infinite possibilities. I'm also inspired by the world around me, as I go through life. As a hospice nurse, I often see the deeper meanings of life which spark um, ideas. I'm always taking notes and jotting down my thoughts for my stories. The book is being published through Starcross Comics. All right. So, okay, then Chris asks, what kind of comics is this suited for and who is it aimed at? Carrie, Phantom Lion is ideal for teens and up who enjoy superhero stories with action, deeper themes of hidden truths and inner strength. It's suited for readers who appreciate thrilling battles, but prefer comics without foul language, nudity, or sexual situations. Fans of engaging characters and exciting conflicts will enjoy this series. Oh, basically, nice, clean superhero story. What she's, I guess, what Carrie's trying to put out there. Chris then asked, "How far along is the second issue?" Carrie, the comic is fully inked and more than 50% colored. So I should be done um, before the campaign ends this week. What are you learning from self-publishing through this process, and what's next after this campaign? Asks Chris, and then Carrie responds, "I love the creative process. You can never predict what will resonate with people and what will be a dud. I am going to finish the 4 comic miniseries that I started with Phantom Lion. Then next up, I have an exciting idea that does not involve superheroes. Be interesting to see what she has next." According to this, Kerry King's the writer, Jeff Batiste is the pencil and ink artist, Steve Cannon is the colorist, and I guess HGE is the letterer. All right, so let's see now. Chris, it blew me away that the comic is only $5, and you have a tier of $10 that includes the first issue, letting readers get caught up. Anything about the campaign you'd like to mention? Carrie, um, there are several stretch goals, and everyone who pledges $5 or more will get these free things. No, I'm not making money from giving away trading cards and holographic stickers, but backers will benefit, and that's all that matters. Chris, thanks for your time and good luck, Carrie. And then Carrie says, "Thanks for considering this project. I put my heart, soul into it." Oh, there we go with that one. I do need to step away from the computer for a quick moment before we move on, but I will put some music on for a moment here. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, folks. Just had to do a couple of things, including turn on my own light in here. So, anyways, let's move on with this article here. So the second story here we're looking at is Rain in Ruins by Eric Diorio. And this one's another Kickstarter campaign. Rain in Ruins, number 1. Alright, so here's the link coming up for this one. It's also a Kickstarter campaign tonight. So there's something to, if you guys want to go check that out after we've, of course, gone over the interview here. There you go. So let's get into this article then. Rain in Ruins by Eric Diorio. So, Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase. Eric, tell our readers your elevator pitch for Rain in Ruins. Eric Diorio, when one cannot be both, is it better to be loved or feared? Monarchical sisters, each a representation of love or fear, vie for the throne. All right, just checking something there. All right, I was just checking to see because I thought I heard somebody knock, so I had to check real quick. Anyways, Chris, what's the origin story of this? What's the origin of this story? Eric, I am a history professor and base the story loosely on the saga of King Richard, the Lionheart, and his unseemly brother John. History is a story. I thought it'd be interesting to weave it in fantasy and psychological elements. The story examines how insecurities define us and plays with the differences between fixed and growth mindsets. We may see some subtle references, recent and historical events. All right. Chris, who is this comic aimed at? Eric, astute readers who seek more mature and darker stories than traditional superhero adventures. Fans of Frank Miller, Neil Gaiman, and McFarlane's Spawn universe will likely enjoy Rain in Ruins. Oh, dark hero, dark fantasy type, from the sounds of it. Chris, talk about your style, how you approached this comic. Eric, that is, right? Yeah, Eric. All right, so I am very influenced by Stanley Kubrick, who tended to give the audience as little as possible. To me, Patronizing or playing a heavy hand fosters awkward and unappealing stories. Subsequently, we kept things subtle and relied on foreshadowing and symbolism. As a rookie to the comics industry, I leaned on the artists who are not only experienced but brilliant creative storytellers. Von Randall's work is breathtaking, and he nailed the characters, mood, and tone. Chris, who else contributed to this artist? Eric Von Randall is the lead artist. He has an impressive history with Marvel, Image, and DC. Most notably, Von um, has earned a reputation working on the Spawn titles. Um, I'm blown away when I see what he comes up with. His work is a blend of anime and traditional Marvel House style with touches of McFarlane and Neil Adams. Kevin Keane contributed to an alternate. Kevin is also from the Spawn family. To me, his art is extremely clean and fluid in a traditional of the. I think he meant to say the tradition of John Romita and John Buscema. Mirko Kolak added a brilliant pinup. He has an extraordinary resume that includes Gunslinger, Assassin's Creed, and Red Skull Incarnate. I would describe MC as the offspring of Jai Lee and Frank Miller. Um, his work is breathtaking and unique. Bringing all of it to life is Max Ortiz, who added colors and lettering. He's worked with Crayola and Hasbro, and in my estimation, is an undiscovered gem. So let's see. So Kristen asks, so what is your production workflow like? And if it's not complete, how far along is the book? Ed, or I'm sorry, Eric. Issue one, Perception is Reality, is nearly done. We have the script completed and edited, and several pages of art are finished. As soon as the Kickstarter hits the goal, we will have issue one off to the printer. In only a few weeks, issues 2 to 4 are mapped out and ready to be tackled. Typically, we need about 4 weeks to navigate from idea to finished 24-page book before we set a crowdfunding goal or crowdfunding campaign. Chris, what's been your biggest lesson learned through self-publishing? Eric, self-publishing is just that, self-publishing. One is expected to be writer, editor, manager, PR representative, IT expert, chef, auto mechanic, and so kind of a jack of all trades. It is a challenge that requires focus, a thick skin, perseverance, and people skills. Crowdfunding is not without pitfalls, foremost of which is a bombardment of folks who will assure you that only they can get your project off the ground. It's a lesson that everybody wants. It's a lesson that everybody wants everybody else's money. And Chris asks, what's next after Reign of Ruins? Eric, I have a few more projects in the works. Reign of Ruins is the locomotive hauling a long train of plans. Of course, like everyone who self-publishes, the ultimate goal is to attract an interested publisher. Still, we have a fantastic team and are in this for the long haul. Sticking with the train analogy in parentheses there. Let's see. And again, guys, if you haven't already, of course, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the question to the best of my ability. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. That way you can get more of the information. Out there. And that, of course, would also be appreciated. So with that, let's continue on with the article here. Chris, any special features you'd like to mention that readers can find on crowdfunding campaign page? I think you forgot to put in the word there. Eric, a few. One tier, the Warlord, offers a signed Mirko Kolak print portraying the talented and lovely Margarita Monet. Margarita is a model, author, and lead singer of the band Edge of Paradise. The character Silbeam is based on her likeness, and she's an important part of the project. There's cool swag that can be earned through various support levels, including BA t-shirts, stickers, and variant covers. Most exciting is the Overlord tier, which backers are depicted as a character in the first issue. Think about Von Randall drawing you as a medieval character. Of course, we cannot promise your likeness will not be horrifically made in gruesome fashion. Nice. Anything else you would like to share with our readers before we wrap? Eric, simply put, the best artists in any medium, music, writing, comics, have one thing in common. They go for it. We know readers will enjoy the ride in part because we didn't play it safe. We went for it. No matter how this turns out, we stay true to our vision, and that's rewarding on its own. Chris, looks great, Eric. Good luck. And the final book that he's featuring tonight. Let's see. A Trading Justice by Rafael Madrigal. So let me, of course, go grab the link there. And this apparently is from the Starcross Comics site itself. believe it's pronounced Atradian or Tradian, I guess. There's a link if you guys want to go check that out. By let's see, A Tradian Justice by Raphael Madrigal. Let's get into this article here, this portion of the article. So we get wind things down here. All right, so Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Raphael. What's the pitch for your comic, A Tradian Justice? Raphael Madrigal, W. Rick Miranda, a man whose faith is challenged and who carries the weight of the world on his shoulders, is bestowed amazing powers from the oldest cosmic order of justice after helping defeat the ultimate evil. And so he thought, or so he thought. 32 pages of color. Chris, tell me the quote-unquote origin story for this project. Raphael, I have been writing this entire superhero universe over 39 years, and after some family hardship, it was time for the world to know Atradian justice. This book is for any superhero reader, especially justice, light, and hope based. When you've been going through all your life, trying to make things right, it's how a superhero learns to fly. Every day, every power, turn your pain into power. Let's see. Chris, what is your experience in comics and who helped you bring this project to fruition? Raphael, I am a new creator and have based all my heroes around faith, family, and justice. It's a classic good versus evil in a complete cosmic level. Some of the scenes are based on family tribulations and things I went through as a deputy sergeant in South Texas. Um, while I am the creator and writer, I sketched and created every character. When I met illustrator Joseph DeSantos and scripter Aaron Dowan, they both helped put everything together. So the illustrator probably helped with more of the art side of it, the scripter with the story, writing the story and all that. What's coming up after this comic is complete? Chris asks. And Raphael responds, I have two books out, A Tradian Justice number 1, Awakening and issue number 2, The Fall. I also have a one-shot and guidebook that will be released on Kickstarter next month, November 2024. The plan is to release 8 issues and 2 one-shots and a crossover book, then work on the next story. So he's got quite a full plate going there. Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Raphael, Atreidian Justice is the ultra sword of justice. Check out this amazing story of faith, family, and justice, action, drama, and hope. And there we go. So that's it for this installment of if you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here. And follow Indie Comic Showcase on Twitter, now X, of course, at Indie Comics. And reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Till next time, support Indie Comics. All right, so as I said, of course, now just to give, so these are the comics. These were the projects that were featured tonight. Phantom Lion, which is on Kickstarter. There's a link to that if you guys want to go check that out. Rain and let's see. So Phantom Lion was done by Kerry King. Rain and Ruins, which was done on Kickstarter by Eric Diorio, and then Raphael Madrigal's Atreidian Justice from StarComics.com. So if any of those stories caught your attention, guys, feel free to go check them out. All right, so all right. So with that being said, of course, now we'll get ready to move on to the next portion of our the wrestling wrap up here. We ran a little longer than I expected, but that's okay. All right. First off, let's talk a little bit about some WWE news as on Tuesday nights. So one of the other things that happened during Tuesday night's NXT broadcast was that Rhea Ripley, who was making an appearance there, had been attacked in the parking lot soon after talking to some of the girls in the NXT locker room. She was apparently attacked by WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Well, apparently what they believe may have happened, and part of the reason why this segment was even set up was apparently during a conversation they had on Raw, Rhea Ripley had apparently suffered an injury, and that would have, a broken orbital bone, I believe is what they said she had, and looks like she'll be out for a few months. Some of them are kind of saying that it might have been a good thing because it might help to kind of, slow down the feud a bit, maybe put the put a hiatus on the current feud between Morgan and Ripley until, of course, Ripley gets healed. There's some talk that Ripley was going to be participating in Royal Rumble. That still might happen. She's just not going to be available at the very least for the next couple of months here. So stay tuned for more news on that. Let's see now. Now let's talk about what happened on last night's Halloween episode of Dynamite. As with commentary being provided by Excalibur, Matt Menard, and Tony Schiavone. Opening match saw Adam Cole defeat Buddy Matthews. After Matthews had challenged Adam Cole, as of course for the upcoming Full Gear pay-per-view, Cole and Roderick Strong are, I guess, in some kind of competition. The first supposedly to get 3 consecutive victories over random opponents will get a shot at MJF at Full Gear. Buddy Matthews had challenged Adam Cole on last week's Dynamite, claiming he wants to prove how fragile he was. Well, I guess he didn't show him how fragile he was because apparently Cole beat him. Now, the second match on the card had the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line as the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, defended them against Private Party of Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, known right now as Quinn and Zay, with the stipulation being added in there for the match that if Private Party lost, they would be forced to split as a team. Well, they're still together, folks, which means that Private Party are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. In a match between 2 of the powerhouses of the women's division, Camille took on Chris Statlander, what was probably considered one of Camille, a former, you had the battle of Camille, a former NWA World Women's Champion, versus Chris Statlander, a former AEW TBS champion, with Statlander defeating Camille in this match. And the main event saw Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in his corner defeat Shelton Benjamin with MVP in his corner, which after the match brought out the debuting Bobby Lashley to AEW. Lashley proceeded to confront and attack Swerve Strickland, with this being the birth of what they're now calling the Hurt Syndicate in AEW, what used to be called the Hurt Business and the WWE. Now you have MVP leading the action he calls the Hurt Syndicate of Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. So it's going to be a very interesting feud to watch out for. Of course, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about what's going to go down tomorrow night. We'll talk about tomorrow. About Rampage tomorrow. As part of the wrestling wrap up. Also, on Access TV tonight, TNA has Impact on tonight on this Halloween. Ash by Elegance with Heather by Elegance and the Personal Concierge in their corner will be taking on one half of the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Danny Luna, have Jody Threat in her corner. The Rascals will be in tag team action as Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz will be taking on First Class of AJ Francis and Casey Navarro. In a 6-man tag match, Josh Alexander and the Good Hands Jason Hotch and John Schuyler will be answering the challenge. Jonathan Gresham, Steve Macklin, and Eric Young. Trent Seven takes on the El Hijo del Vikingo. Lei Ying Lee takes on Maggie Moore, and then the Systems, Eddie Edwards and JDC, Alicia Edwards in their corner, will be taking on Joe Hendry and TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth. So that'll be all happening tonight on Impact. So now, with all that being said, let's now winding down with today being Thursday, October 31st, Halloween 2024. Let's take a look back at this day. Needs history. History! So let me just take a quick look around. 1974, 2009, and 2009. All right. So first off, we're going to head back 50 years ago. And on this date, 50 years ago today, back in 1974, Harvey Comics, Richie Rich Dollar, and the 65th issue of Harvey Comics, Richie Rich Dollar and Cents went on sale on this date back in 1974. It sold for a quarter, and it was 32 pages. So on this date back 50 years ago today, the 65th issue of Harvey Comics, Richie Rich Dollars and Cents went on sale on this date back in 1974. Now moving on to the next day in each history. So going back to moving up to 2009, on this date 15 years ago today. On this date 15 years ago today, the Thomas Vito and Paulie Tomaselli would defeat the Weed Man and Billy Bong for the JCW World Tag Team Championship. And I believe this was JCW, the Jersey Championship Wrestling. So on this day in 15 years ago today, the Tomaselli brothers, Vito and Paulie Tomaselli, defeated Weed Man and Billy Bong for the JCW World Tag Team Championships. And also on this date in 2009 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. And also on this date in 2009, Toei Animation's fresh precure the movie The Kingdom Toys has a lot. The Kingdom of Toys has lots of secrets. Premiered on this date in Japanese theaters 15 years ago today. So 15 years ago today, back in 2009, Toei Animation's fresh precure the movie The Kingdom of Toys has lots of secrets. Premiered in Japanese theaters on this date back in 2009. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, a quick reminder here. Tomorrow night will be a regular news night, as we have moved the historical comic retrospect to Sunday at 5 now. This Sunday, of course, I will have RJ Carter with me. We'll be starting our April of 1940 cover books that went on sale in April of 1940. We'll be looking at books that went on sale from DC. I will let me see. I will trying to think here. And also, so when we come back tomorrow night, will be another Niche News night. Hope you guys will come back and catch up latest in Niche News on tomorrow's show. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. And happy Halloween, everybody. Have a safe and happy Halloween. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. Bye.